Welcome back to the channel. Today we are traveling more than 2,500 years into the past to meet a man who is often called the first true scientist in human history. His name is Thales of Miletus, born around 624 BC in the ancient Greek city of Miletus, which today lies in modern Turkey. Thales lived in a world where people explained natural events by telling stories of gods and supernatural beings. Yet Thales was different because he believed that the universe could be explained through reason, logic, and observation of nature rather than myths. This simple but powerful shift made him one of the first minds in history to think scientifically. He is remembered not only as a philosopher but also as a mathematician, astronomer, and even a political thinker. One of his bold ideas was that everything in existence could be traced back to a single substance, and for him that basic element was water. He observed that water is essential for life. It can change form from liquid to solid to vapor, and it is present everywhere, so in his mind it was the fundamental principle behind the universe. While today we know the universe is far more complex, the important point is that Thales was searching for a natural explanation instead of a supernatural one. And that is why many historians honor him as the first scientist. Thales also contributed to mathematics and geometry. He studied triangles, circles, and angles, and several important theorems in geometry are still linked to his name. For example, Thales discovered that a circle is bisected by its diameter and that the angles at the base of an isosceles triangle are equal. He also found a clever way to measure the height of the pyramids in Egypt by comparing the length of their shadows with his own shadow at the same time of day. This was a brilliant application of geometry to solve a real-world problem. In astronomy, Thales made history when he predicted a solar eclipse. Imagine the awe of people thousands of years ago when the sun suddenly darkened in the sky. Before Thales, such events were thought to be the work of gods, but Thales showed it could be calculated and predicted. This was revolutionary because it proved that natural phenomena followed patterns and laws, and if you could understand those laws you could make sense of the universe. Beyond science, Thales was also respected as one of the 7 sages of Greece, a group of wise men who gave advice on ethics and politics. He was admired for his wisdom and practical knowledge. Legends say that someone once mocked Thales for being poor and spending his time in philosophy. To prove them wrong, he used his knowledge of the stars to predict a good harvest of olives. He rented all the olive presses in advance, and when the harvest came, he made a fortune. This story is often told to show that philosophers are capable of success, but they choose knowledge over wealth. Thales lived to around 546 BC, and even though many of his exact writings have been lost, his ideas influenced generations of thinkers, including Anaximander, Pythagoras, and eventually Aristotle, and through them his legacy shaped the entire foundation of Western science and philosophy. What makes Thales special is not whether he was right or wrong about water being the basic element or about every detail of the universe. What makes him important is that he dared to ask questions, to seek answers through reason, and to believe that the world could be understood by the human mind. This spirit of curiosity and rational inquiry is what science is all about, and in that sense the long journey of science that has given us telescopes, electricity, computers, and even artificial intelligence began with one man staring at the stars and asking why. So whenever we think of the history of science, we must remember the name Thales of Miletus, the man who opened the door to a new way of thinking. The man who helped humanity take its very first step on the path of discovery, and that is why we still call him the first scientist in the world.